Welcome to the main attraction, Sonic and the Secret Rings. Rated E for everyone.
Not a terribly good commercial, but whatever. Alright, good evening folks. Welcome to the Game Reserve. My name is Jagger Newman. I'm the warden in these parts. And joining me tonight is my co-warden, none other than Steffi, the MLG Panda.
Hello.
And tonight Steffi is joining me for a game that she has been looking forward to ever since I started looking at Sonic games, and that is Sonic and the Secret Rings. This game was released in 2007, I want to say, exclusively for the Wii U.
No, Wii.
Wii. Why did I say Wii U?
Mm.
I don't know either. Anyway, so what do you know about this game, Steffi?
Okay, for the record, I'm not excited about doing this game. I'm just hyped for the song.
Oh, so that's why you shackled the Wiimote to my wrist?
I don't remember doing that. You did that to yourself.
For the joke.
To get back on topic, so when this game was first announced and we saw the trailers for it with the 3D graphics and the cutscenes, I was so excited. I thought the whole game was going to look like that. And I wanted this game so bad. And I couldn't get it right away because, you know, I was still a kid. I didn't have my own money, so I had to wait for my parents to get it for me. So it took a while. I remember spending several dollars in an arcade, one of those stack the block games, trying to win Sonic and the Secret Rings because that was the first place prize. And I didn't win it. So eventually, I finally get my hands on a copy. I'm like, yes, finally I can experience the 3D Sonicness and...
Complete disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys remember when we played Sonic 06, we mentioned that part of the reason Sonic 06 ended up as bad as it was primarily because Sega decided to split the team down the middle, have one develop a game for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox, while another team developed a game for the Nintendo Wii because it just wasn't feasible to port the Sonic 06 to the Wii, which I find a little laughable considering how bad the game was graphically, but I digress. So eventually, and probably because they realized that Sonic 06 was going to be complete another dog shit, they decided that the game would just become its own unique thing, primarily built around all the different capabilities of the Wiimote. Initially known as Sonic Wildfire, it would eventually become Sonic and the Secret Rings. And I remember when this game came out, people didn't really think it was that bad, but it's one of those games that people haven't really been too kind to in retrospective. So, yeah, and that's kind of my perspective on it too. I remember finding Sonic in the Secret Rings to be okay back in the day, but that's probably because it just wasn't Sonic 06. That's probably the most positive thing I can say about Sonic in the Secret Rings. It's just not Sonic 06. So, I think that pretty much sums it up. You think it's time to just start the game?
I think so.
Yeah,
I have a lot of complaints that I will make known as we get to it.
As to how we are going to be playing this game, close this out. We are going to be playing the game off of the Nintendo Wii because Sonic and the Secret Rings has yet to see any kind of digital re-release. And considering that this was one of the games that Sega delisted in preparation for, I think it was Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations, it's probably never going to get any kind of re-release, so this is really the only way you can play it on the Wii. Not that that's a bad thing. Sonic and the Secret Rings was a successful game, so, man, we only paid $15 for this game at the shop we went to today.
Yeah. There's a lot of copies out there.
Yep, supply and demand. Anyway, let's go ahead, get started. And yes, I am going to be playing this one because, what's your reason for it, Steffi?
I don't want to.
Fair enough.
Not only was I disappointed in the graphics of this, well, the graphics of the cutscenes, I should say, but I was also disappointed in the gameplay. I hate the way you have to play this game.
A lot of people don't like the way this game plays. Okay, so the title screen, I think this is pretty good. Like, they didn't do much to the Sonic logo, but I do like the fire that's radiating out of the O, which is fitting the subject matter. But Sonic and the Secret Rings, like, I get why they chose that title, but it just seems like a random name for Sonic. I kind of prefer the original title, which was Sonic Wildfire. What do you think?
I have to disagree with you because, so the whole point of this game is it's like a story from the Arabian Nights, and Sonic and the Secret Rings sounds more like a story that you'd be reading instead of Sonic Wildfire.
Fair enough. Different opinions, but...
Agree to disagree.
And these menus are pretty cool, you have to admit. Like, I like the fire, I like the fact that it's like this ancient text-looking kind of font. This actually looks really cool. It's right up my alley. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the adventure. We can use different data, but oh well. Paragraph 1, the Lost Prologue. So,
viewers, spoiler alert, we're gonna get into like a million levels of just tutorial.
Oh yeah. Well, for how bizarre, games on the Wii with the motion controls and everything, it was a new thing at the time, so having a tutorial is something that you really want to have. So in this case, Sonic and the Secret Rings might have been too different, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we'll get into the story first.
Hold on. Hold that thought. So I was so excited to see cutscenes when I played this game, and then I saw drawings that kind of moved. I was like, what the hell?
It's like a motion comic. I gotta admit though, this is keeping in theme with the Arabian Nights. This does kind of look like a painting that you would find in like a text or something of that.
Yes, but this is not how they advertise the game. At least not how I remember. Anyway, what were you going to say about the story?
Well, I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I do have questions like, where is Sonic reading this book exactly? Is this Tails' place? They just fall asleep in the basement of a library? I mean, Sonic's got a lot of friends all over the world, like, it wouldn't surprise me, but... And basically what's happening here is the genie of the ring, Shara, is coming to Sonic saying that the pages of the Arabian Nights are disappearing, and that it's all because of the genie of the lamp, Eraser Jin, stating that is trying to destroy the book so he can break free in the real world, and of course, call Sonic to help. I'm not sure why they thought Shara was a good idea here, considering how negatively people were reacting to Elise at the time. Though I do think she's more tolerable than Elise. Her design is much better for starters. And, you know, she doesn't fall in love with the cartoony blue hedgehog.
The blue hedgehog can do it.
So this guy needs someone to put him in his place, does he? I suppose I can help out with that.
And of course, Sonic agrees to help out despite how bizarre this situation is, because Sonic is a character who will always do the right thing, no matter what. Screw you, Jeff Fowler, for not understanding that. You know I'm right.
As such, I am able to grant
He makes the right choice in the end, and that's what matters.
The fact that he needed to learn what the right choice was is my issue with that. Sonic typically doesn't have that problem.
But we all have to learn that at some point.
Yes, and guess who I learned that from?
Sonic.
Exactly.
But this is a Sonic that has not learned that yet.
And thus they don't understand the character. And this part right here, putting the ring on Sonic's finger. Imagine if Amy was here. She would want to beat the living shit out of Shara, wouldn't she?
Yes.
I'm surprised she didn't want to kick the crap out of Elise for making out with Sonic either. I need to do well, we're pre-recording this. This will probably go up a month from, you know, when we're actually recording it. Hopefully by then I'll have done my remake roadmap for Sonic 06, because for some reason, I have heard a rumor that they actually want to remake Sonic 06, and I'm like, why? Remake Sonic Adventure, you idiots! And this cutscene does go on a little long, doesn't it?
Yes.
And just the fact that we're not really listening to it, I think implies that we don't really care, do we? Like, and this whole storybook setup is just really bizarre too. It's like,
Where did they come up with this idea?
I mean, I like the Arabian Nights. I love that theme. And, like, I love the architecture. I love the attire, the characters, the mythology of it. I love. One of my comic books is themed after this shit. But whose bright idea was it to put Sonic in this? And they don't even stick to it too, because I'm pretty sure there are no dinosaurs in or industrial factories. All right. What's first?
Tilting the Wii remote to the left and right will move you in that direction.
So yeah, this is how you hold it, and you move Sonic by tilting it left and right like this. So I have no control over Sonic's forward momentum, really. Which, when I heard they were going to do that, I didn't really have an issue with it per se. They could have sold me on like an auto runner for Sonic, but they just do some things with it that they shouldn't have done. And I do love how when you finish a mission, you do get that rocket tune too.
That is a plus.
I know the reason Steffi was excited to do this one was because she wanted to do her famous beat Potri to 7 Rings in Hand. And you will get that opportunity, but we do need to explain the controls first.
Yep.
You can do that when we get to that first level, okay? Good sport. I know she's trying to contain her excitement to do that. And again, I do like the menu, and I do like the music that's playing. You do get sick of it after a while, but it's a cool menu.
Yeah, listening to that one song over and over and over.
At least it's a good song.
It is.
Instrumentals
I
are
rock
great.
out to this game.
And so, like, if you just push the button, Sonic will do a little jump, and if you hold it, he'll start to slide, and he'll do a higher jump, and you can make Sonic stop in places with that. Just something you really gotta get used to. Just thankfully, I've played this game enough to where I can do that pretty seamlessly. Like, you were telling me that you never actually finished this game, but I played this game from start. I might have 100%ed it at some point.
Wow. Some of the missions and stuff get really hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we'll get more into that.
Yeah. And I have a lot of problems with the level design too.
Yeah, and yeah, I have my own thoughts on that too, because believe it or not, I actually do have some points of comparison for what they were going for here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my problem is, like, in a game like this where you're constantly moving forward, it should always be obvious where you're supposed to go.
Right.
But in some levels, it's not.
While jumping,
And that's an issue. Because you don't have time to stop and think about where you're supposed to go because Sonic doesn't stop.
There are times when the controls can be a little unresponsive too.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate how you have to fling the Wii remote forward like that to do stuff like the homing attack, because motions like that just in general are not terribly responsive. And like, why can't I just double press the button? Which is originally what they had in mind. I remember seeing a very early demo of Sonic and the Secret Rings back when it was Wildfire, and that's how you did the homing attack. You would just double press the jump button. But at some point they decided to have you fling the Wii mode for it, and why?
Because it's the Wii. They gotta put in as much motion control as they can.
Is this not enough?
Clearly. So one of the reasons why this game will probably never be remade or re-released is because a lot of Wii games that are heavily reliant on the motion controls are being remade now for the Switch, where the motion controls are optional. So you can still use them if you want to, but because a lot of people prefer not to, it's programmed so that you can use buttons and the joystick and stuff too. And that would be fantastic with this game, but at the same time, the whole game is built around you using motion control, so I don't think it's really gonna work.
And even with, they do have the option for motion controls, like in Metroid Prime HD, they had the option to play the game with pointer controls, but it just didn't work as well as it did with Wii, so a lot of people just stuck to the dual stick setup that they introduced. One feature that I will commend them for introducing here is the aim reticle for the homing attack, because in previous games you just kind of had to guess if you would home in on an enemy or not. Here, it actually tells you if the homing attack will lock onto an enemy, which is actually a good feature because it would lead to fewer deaths. I mean, it's pointless here because you can't really fall off the edge in most levels. But that's something that would become standard for Sonic games, and for gameplay purposes, I think it's a good one. It sort of takes you out of the immersion, and I don't really think it was necessary in games like Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2, but it's not a bad feature at all.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good choice that they made for that, and it's continued even in Sonic games today. So, good choice. Did appreciate.
Like, there are some good ideas in Sonic and the Secret Rings. It's just the execution that kills it.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go! Press the 1 button to break.
Not soon enough because I couldn't see that.
You have to skid to a stop even if you're going like 2 steps forward.
Yeah, it's hard to pick up speed in this game too, which is also kind of the problem. And we're still in the freaking tutorial too. I mean, we are 17 minutes into the stream. We're a quarter of the way through the hour.
I told you. And then wait until you get to the ring customization thing.
Oh, sweet sound.
It's so convoluted.
Like, this is just an example of a game that did not need RPG elements.
It's like they had all these ideas and they're just like, we're gonna do all of them.
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. And you know what? You're dealing with new technology. That is very important.
3, 2,
That's why games like Star Fox ended up not being too bad. Now here's a really finicky example of it, because holding it back like this, that's how you go back. It's anyone's guess if you are actually going to get Sonic to do that. It's very unresponsive because it's part of a motion. Why can't I just push back on the D-pad?
Or like plug in the nunchuck and just use the joystick.
Well, they do that for the sequel, but that's a story for another time. And that game is even worse, isn't it?
Yes, but the ideas and stuff aren't just all crammed in there. That one actually sticks to the theme, at least.
Like, for every good thing that Sonic and the Black Knight does to improve on the Secret Rings, it also does something just really stupid.
Oh, absolutely.
Like giving Sonic a sword, for the record. Sonic doesn't use weapons, he doesn't need them.
But it's the story of King Arthur. There has to be a sword.
Why is Sonic in the story of King Arthur then?
Why is he in the story of the Arabian Nights? And so, I believe they originally intended...
Screw you, game!
Wait, what were you supposed to do?
Guess I was supposed to only hop instead of jump.
Oh. But I believe they originally intended this to be like a series called the Storybook series. And I don't know how many games they envisioned for it, but each game was supposed to be based off of like a story.
What do you think they would have done after Sonic and the Secret Rings? Not, I mean, Sonic and the Black Knight.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe Greek, maybe Norse, maybe Japanese, Chinese.
I mean, they could always do like some classic fairy tales.
I mean, there is a lot of potential for like a storybook series that's themed after, you know, different mythologies and everything, but it's just a weird fit for Sonic. Like, this is something I would imagine for, like, Knights or something.
Yes.
That would be cool, and that would make sense because,
It's dreams.
yes, but, Sonic is more marketable, so.
Yeah, unfortunately. So,
Arabian Nights.
was this idea originally intended for Sonic? Or is this another case of, we have this idea for a game, but it's not going to sell, let's just make it Sonic?
Well, from what I've read, like, they just themed a lot of the
You
levels
can grind
off
on
of
faces that have
the
square
Arabian
edges.
Nights, and they just kind of stuck with it.
I feel like they themed one world of levels after Arabian Nights, and then the rest is just random shit.
Yes. Yeah, this tutorial is just going on
at least
forever.
Black Knight, like, all of the levels are, like, medieval Camelot, fighting dragons and stuff.
yeah.
Like, it's all,
Yeah,
it all
but-
fits with the theme.
Yeah, but the themes in the Black Knight get really repetitive. There's at
Oh,
least
yeah.
more level variety in this, but there's plenty of variety in the Arabian Nights too.
Yes, so why didn't they stick with that?
I don't know why they decided to do this in the first place. Finally!
Okay, let's get into the actual game now.
Like, usually we start these videos by talking about the controls, but for crying out loud, the game did it for us.
So what, we're at 21 minutes now? Almost 22?
Finally, well, we got some story now too.
That's right. Can you take me to him?
There is no need.
What do you mean?
He's here.
Ah!
Also, I do like the name Eraser Jin though, because he's erasing the book. His primary weapon looks like a razor blade, and Jin, of course, being like
A genie.
yeah.
Sharpen too?
And I feel like the Eraser Jin is kind of an underrated opponent for Sonic because one of the best parts of the Archie comics was that you could actually pit Sonic against other enemies other than Eggman. So you had characters like Mammoth Mogul, Exus Nagus, Monkey Khan, the Destructix, the Hooligans. He had a rogues gallery in the comic books, and it's always kind of disappointed me that Sega never attempted to do something similar, instead just sticking with Eggman. And that's one thing I felt they should have done for Sonic Superstars, because you have Nat the Weasel come back. Why not have the game be about Sonic and his friends competing with Knack, Bark, and Bean for like treasure or something?
Yeah.
But nah, it's just honestly, Sonic Superstars doesn't even have a story. Now, like, I don't know what the hell happened. You played that game yet?
No.
I'm missing a damn thing.
That's why I haven't played it. Back to the design of these characters, though. I love
Still going on.
how these characters are designed. I love the way they look. I think their names are cool. Like, I think they're really cool, but I don't think they should be in a Sonic game.
Also, I do have to admit that I think that Char is really pretty, but that's also because I got a weird thing for Arabian women.
Well,
It's going to be really awkward when we get to Shantae.
she is very cute.
And this right here, like, one of the rules of the genie, or at least according to Disney's Aladdin, is that, which I guarantee the people in Sega are taking as gospel in regards to this, genies cannot kill people. So, Eraser Jin can't kill Sonic, though you'd be surprised what you can live through. But instead used a magic spell, the fire arrow, that once the flame goes out, it'll kill Sonic. He's not actually killing Sonic, it's the spell that's killing Sonic. I smell a loophole. So the guy's clearly not an idiot.
Character of the
And instead of just killing everyone, he's erasing the world.
Well, he can't kill anyone.
We get to him first.
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. My brain doesn't always keep up with everything else.
We had a couple drinks before we started this recording, so.
Yeah, like, I had 50, so... I was making a joke. I haven't had that much to drink. Okay, Steffi. It's your moment to shine. I'm going to play the level. You can do your beat poetry. Ready?
Alright, so same as I did for, what was it, Sonic Adventure?
Yes.
Our Sonic Adventure playthrough. I will preface this by saying I love the music in Sonic games, but sometimes the lyrics of the songs get very silly.
And also, on a side note, the soundtrack in Secret Rings is badass.
It is. So the main song, Seven Rings in Hand, is interesting because it's a hard rock song, but it's the first one where it's not Crush 40. It's,
Unfortunately.
what is his name? Steve Conti?
Yeah, that's
Who sings it. And some of his enunciation is not great, so whenever I hear this song, I do like the misheard lyrics things. But the actual lyrics to the song are pretty silly. So let me read to you Seven Rings in Hand. Make believes reborn, myths and mind rethought. Question all that's known, legends blurred and torn. No such thing as fate for those who speed. A path out of time, instead of just living it. So many things erased before they begin. Hopes undream instead of what could have been. Fortune fades like words in the sand. Nothing like that, nothing, it all just seems. Nothing, it all just seems. Fortune shines with seven in hand. Back to fact, make real of all that seems. Make real of all that seems. Seven rings in hand, speed through nights with feet in sand. Seven rings in hand, wonders all under command. Come on! Seven rings in hand, wild with just one single hand. Seven rings in hand, arrowed hearts catch fire now. Make believes reborn, myths and mind rethought. Question all that's known, legends blurred and torn. Seven seas in hand, speed of sound through sands. All our hopes and plans in one single hand. And then there's like a final verse.
I need to snap for you, Steffi.
Thank you. There is a final verse where I swear he's saying memories of Dan. And I don't even know what the real lyric is.
Alright, so actually get into the gameplay here. So I actually don't think the idea for Sonic and the Secret Rings is that bad. It's basically an auto runner where Sonic runs automatically and you just gotta keep him from running into hazards. I think that actually isn't a bad idea for Sonic, at least as like a spin-off title, because like just trying to keep Sonic from hitting anything and hitting something, the punishment would be losing speed. But the problem with it is that it's not always clear where you're going or what lane Sonic needs to be in, so it can just be a little awkward to play at times. And I know this kind of gameplay can be done really well too. Like, have you ever played Sin and Punishment, Steffi?
I have not.
Like, that does basically what Sonic does, but instead of platforming, like you're having to shoot stuff like you would in a Star Fox game, but you also have to... Come on. That's Wee Waggle for you right there.
I did want to make a comment about the Sonic Runner thing.
Yeah.
They did do that in The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I love how they did it like that. I mean, it's very brief segments. So instead of losing speed being your penalty, you're losing rings, and you need a certain amount of rings to pass each level. But like, Sonic does work really well as an auto runner. They just crammed too many things into this game. It wanted to be all the things at once.
And like, even this right here, I feel like this is too much because it's just too slow for Sonic.
Yes.
I'd rather Sonic just keep moving and it be about him avoiding things, occasionally having to jump on different platforms so there's a gap in between paths he's running. Not in front of him, because in Sin and Punishment, you don't have to do that, and maybe have sections where it goes to 2D and you have to control Sonic's position that way. You know, have fun with the angles. That's why Sin and Punishment works so. That's also why something like Contra Shattered Soldier works so well. You're always connected to a 2D plane, but it still works. But like, having platforming in this format, it's just a little too awkward like this.
It's so slow.
which, as we've always stated, is something of a poor choice in Sonic. There's also no momentum to it, too.
Yeah, the parts where you are just running and trying to collect the things and dodge the obstacles and occasionally home attack, those are pretty fun segments. But then you get to platforming,
Oh, crap.
where the only way to jump is by holding the one button down, completely stopping Sonic. He has to charge up and then jump, or he can do his little hops, I guess.
And making...
He still has to completely stop before he jumps.
And make,
slows the whole thing down.
and making Sonic change lanes can also be a little clunky at times, too.
Yeah.
Mostly because you don't have the nice feedback you get from a joystick. One of the things that they actually recommend in the instruction manual is that while Sonic is on screen, you actually move the Wiimote with it, but that doesn't help in the slightest.
Here is the town.
Jagger, is that one of the secret tips inside?
Ah.
I see it.
I think so, actually. I can't remember if I got that from the menu or not.
I do remember the days of getting like full length instruction books with stories. I mean, look at this. It's like a storybook.
Yeah, you don't get that anymore, unfortunately. Like, most games do have manuals, but they're all digital now. Like, I used to remember reading those on weeknights or school nights because I wasn't allowed to play video games during that time.
We would go. So I lived in a really small town. Like, we didn't have a Walmart in my town.
Right.
So when I got to buy video games, it was when we went to the next town over, which was not very frequent. And it was always a big deal, and I'd be so excited that I'd open the game in the back seat and be reading the manual on the way home.
Here's a funny bit.
What's Dr. Eggman doing here? Aha! I knew it. This is all another one of your schemes.
Like, they have Sonic's friends playing the roles of different characters in the Arabian Nights.
What are you up to this time?
But
Wait.
what does it add to the experience?
This is him. This is
Nothing.
Shariar.
Really?
Do you know the origins of the Arabian Nights, Steffi?
Yes.
Where
It was a prince or a prisoner that was going to be executed by the king, and the king loved stories. So to stall being executed, the prisoner just kept telling stories over and over and over, and he told like 1,001 stories.
That's close. The story is that there was, I think, a sultan who was so terrified of his wives being, infidels to him or unfaithful to him, that after every night he spent with them, he would have them executed. So eventually he got to his vizier's daughter, who, the vizier being very clever, told his daughter to just spend the night telling him a story. The story is so compelling that he couldn't turn away from it. But he told her to always make sure that the stories didn't end by morning, so that he would have no choice but to let her live so he could hear the end of the story. And that's where you get the 1,001 Arabian Nights. She kept that going for 1,001.
You know, I think I was thinking about the Bugs Bunny version.
I mean, let's be real. Most dumbass Americans like us, our knowledge of the Arabian Nights is probably really only limited to Aladdin. Disney's Aladdin, where we think that genies are fast-talking, people voiced by Robin Williams, or played by Will Smith.
Alright, I found the page that has the secret tips.
Okay.
Here are some tips for the adventure mode that you should remember to improve your game. When the coast is clear, it's time to run full throttle with Sonic's speed break ability. Be aggressive and aim for the best time.
I haven't gotten that ability yet.
Anytime you feel that your surroundings, such as enemies and traps, are moving too fast, play it safe by using Sonic's time break ability.
Okay, haven't gotten that ability either.
Record-wise, your score and time are the two most important results of this game. Improve the time to earn a medal and aim for a high score if you want to earn more EXP. Less damage means more EXP. EXP gained from each mission is determined by the amount of damage Sonic takes. When it's time to collect more EXP, remind yourself to watch your step while you play. Finding the right skills. Customize Sonic skills according to the objective of your next mission. Choose more skills based on mobility when you are playing to earn a medal, or include more on attack skills when you are about to face one of the bosses. So, they knew how confusing and convoluted the skill system is, so all of the secret tips are about the skills. Have you even unlocked any of the skills yet?
Nah, and I'm probably not even going to bother with them for this video.
I know later on you definitely need them.
I think you can play through the whole game without them.
Unless I'm thinking of like the challenge missions.
Like, I think all the XP does is when you level up, you can equip more abilities to your character.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are quality of life things.
Some of them are ones that you shouldn't add, though, and they're ones that you want to add, unfortunately. So, like, there's a skill set that allows Sonic to run faster. Unfortunately, you don't want to do that because the level design doesn't accommodate the faster speed.
Even though this is a Sonic game.
Doesn't make sense. And, like, when you play through the game for the first level, it's fine. But then you go through the mission mode, and that's when it starts to become a pain in the ass. So, like, right here, trying to get through without breaking any of the jars.
Oh, so, if you guys noticed, there were 4 different skill slots that you can pick from. So you can set different skills for each one. Like, say, you want to build one that focuses on Sonic going really fast. You want to build one that focuses on Sonic doing more damage. Whatever. You can do that. But the thing is, when you use your skills, like even what I read in the instruction book is you pretty much, when you get later on in the game, you want to customize your skills for each level. So I don't think 4 skill slots is enough. You're always going to be tweaking things. And I remember being frustrated with that when I was playing this game. Because even though I'd have like preset ones, I'd still have to customize it a little bit and edit it for each level.
And honestly, when I played this game, I didn't really figure out the upgrade system until after I finished the game, so it's completely unnecessary as far as I know. I would have just preferred they included more levels. It was probably just added for a gameplay's sake.
Did I ever...
See? I was shaking forward, but it just didn't pick that up.
Did I ever tell you about my experience when I played Sonic Battle?
What was that? See, it didn't do it again.
So you covered that one already, I believe.
Yes, for Sonic spin-offs.
And I wasn't part of that video, so I need to share my experience with Sonic Battle.
That's fair.
In Sonic Battle, you can customize Emerald's attacks. And you copy attacks from the other characters as you fight them and progress through the game.
Oh, come on!
So, they tell you that to customize his attacks, you press the R button. They never specify that you're supposed to push the R button while you're in, like, conversation with other characters or in the map.
Right.
I thought it meant during battle, so I'm constantly pressing the R button during battle, which does Emerald's very basic, half-assed copied Sonic spin attack. I beat the entire game like that, never customizing his skills, and I remember being very frustrated, like, I can't believe they designed the game like
crap,
this.
I dropped an F-bomb.
You get one.
It sucks. And I don't even start at a checkpoint. I gotta
Nope.
start.
This was one of those levels that made me mad and made me stop playing the game.
It wasn't even the jars that got me. It was just more the frustration, the fact that the homie attack. Why can't I just push the 2 button? Oh, but you need to have the stop button. Okay, why not map that to 1? Keep it simple, stupid.
But yeah, you talking about not even setting the skills because you didn't know how reminded me of my experience with Sonic Battle.
I mean,
Which I proved that you can beat that game entirely without ever setting skills.
I mean,
I don't recommend it. It was not a good time.
I mean, I'm sure completionists have done more with less.
Yeah, but it was basically like So whenever I would play fighting games like Virtual Fighter and stuff with my brother, he'd always get mad at me because I would just press the same button over and over and over to attack, and he'd be like, "That's cheating," and that's what I felt like I was doing when I played Sonic Battle. Over and over and over until they died, because I had one move. Well, I think he had a punch too, but that was it was a punch and then a little jump spin attack.
Oh.
Oh.
See, that was B. I could not see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's trial and error right there.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, so let's talk about another positive of this game. Like, you gotta admit, the presentation here actually is pretty good, at least when you're in game.
Yes, it does look good in the levels.
And I do like the Arabian theme of this first one. Again, I just love that aesthetic. So,
Yeah.
again, like, that's not consistent through the whole game because I guarantee, I haven't read every story in the Arabian Nights, but I'm pretty sure that there are no dinosaurs or industrial factories or flying dragons or whatever else is in this game.
Oh, there might be a flying dragon. I find that more believable than the dinosaur jungle. It's silly. It's like they had the idea from this one small set of levels, and they're like, hey, let's make a whole game based off of this. But we need variety, even though it doesn't make sense.
Like, you see how deliberate I'm trying to be with swinging the Wiimote forward like this. Like, it feels good when it works, it's satisfying, but again, I would just prefer if it was mapped to the 2 button. Just trying to do too much and throw motion controls where they just aren't necessary. And like right there, it's confused. It thought I was trying to slow down.
You did it!
Yes, sweet son of life. Feeling that on my shoulder, believe it or not. Like, I remember when the Wii came out, people applauded because it was a way to exercise while, you know, you play a video game. But a lot of the best games on the Wii, they use the the motion controls in a more subtle manner.
Mm-hmm.
Like pointer controls or like playing a beat 'em up, you motions for the finishing moves. Like, stuff like that is good, but games that, you know, would get your body moving were just really unpopular, and, you know, gamers really hate motion controls. Like, even with VR games, where it would be necessary, because it really further immerses you, because God forbid you use more than your fingers to play a video game.
My name is Alibaba.
Come on, Tails.
Again, what purpose does this serve? Other than, oh, we don't have a character design for Alibaba. Just throw Tails in there. My favorite is Knuckles as Sinbad, because
Yes.
he's supposed to be this wise adventurer, which is funny considering that Knuckles is neither wise nor is he really an
He
adventurer.
made Tails Sinbad.
Or maybe some other character, like, but maybe Vector. Like, he's from the ocean. No, he's not from the ocean. We don't really have any sea creatures in the Sonic series, do we? We have birds, we have insects, we have reptiles. We don't have any sea creatures. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Oh, Die Hard challenge. Don't get defeated. What Steffi was talking about, like, I didn't point this out. This is what she means by equip the ring. So you get create up to 4 builds for Sonic and pick the one you want. But
Can you show the customized screen?
yeah, like, let's see. Maybe it's the status screen.
No. Like, go back into where you were. No. Like, go to where the select the equip screen is. Now click on one. And then hit
Oh, I
custom.
see. Let's see what we got. Pearl Collector, Ring Bonus, Mini Turbo. And I can equip a certain amount until that meter is filled up. I think we're gonna
Nothing at all just means.
Bladeslinger and ditch that in favor of Pearl Collector because that just makes more sense. This doesn't do jack shit.
Yeah. It's not a racing game.
But there are party games.
I do remember having some fun with the party games when I played this, but I don't remember what any of them are.
It was just a tacked on multiplayer mode because if you're gonna have a multiplayer mode on the Wii, might as well make it a crappy minigame collection.
There were a lot of games on the Wii like that.
Yeah, one on the back of that manual too.
Oh, Super Monkey Ball?
Banana Blitz! I remember renting that game. We did not even touch the main game. We just played all the mini games. It was very much a quantity over quality kind of thing.
Did Sonic get a different voice actor in this game?
Nah, it's still the same guy from Sonic X. I don't
He
know his
sounds
name.
different.
Oh, what the heck happened?
That was BS. There was nothing you could have done about that.
Like, the thing with Sonic 06 is it's just broken beyond belief. There's another word I want to use, but I don't want to drop another F-bomb here. But,
Sorry, Mama.
the thing with this is that it's just not, the controls aren't as reliable. There's a lot of faults with the gameplay. I would still say that Sonic and the Secret Rings is better than Sonic 06, but only by virtue of the fact that it's not Sonic 06. I would much rather play this over that game.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that.
Hell, I'd rather even play the Black Knight over Sonic 06. I would play anything over Sonic 06. There's a reason I destroyed that game. I'm just glad I don't have to play Sonic Boom. Don't look at me like that.
Jagger, we've been over this. You're playing Sonic Boom.
I don't want to. Can't even throw it at the screen. It's attached to me.
So, remember when I was talking about covering different games on my, in my videos that I do by myself?
Yep.
And I said that there were some that I might not even do the series because there's certain entries that I don't even want to cover because I don't enjoy them. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, that's part of it. You gotta play some you like and some you don't. Sonic Boom. You're gonna cover Sonic, you gotta do all the
I
games.
don't have a Wii U, and I'm not gonna buy it for a game that I know is shit.
I have a Wii U.
Yeah, but that's clear back in Delaware.
I'll bring it next time.
Oh, come on, please, Tuffy, don't do that!
Just isn't my day.
I'm sorry, I'll stop talking about Sonic.
I'm going insane again.
It makes for good content.
Yeah, I'm sure that people like watching me go completely insane. Except they didn't get enough of that. So this is more just a different kind of aggravation from Sonic 06. It's not like I have a desire to destroy this game. Because again, there are some things I do like about this game. There's more to like here than Sonic 06, I would say. Not much, but something.
Can you just get on the rails and go past these guys?
Can't go past those guys, but they keep fading and disappearing.
How about let's give it one more try. And
We
we'll try something else.
We still have 10 minutes.
I know.
What else could we try?
Did you unlock any of the extra missions?
I guess we can see if I did.
Or we could take a look at party mode.
I don't have another Wii mode.
You can do it solo, I think.
See, he just disappears. Cheap.
Alright, you got this.
See, like, cool transitions like that looks cool, but they often put enemies and turns and stuff like that in there, even though you're not really in a position to deal with stuff like that.
It's just mean.
Then you gotta wait for Sonic to pick up speed again. I didn't even turn that way.
No, you didn't.
You can be so dumb. I could get out of the way.
You know, I don't really get the purpose of the enemies. They're like Eggman robots, but in the Arabian desert. Are they Eraser Jin's minions? Because Eggman's not the bad guy?
I suppose so.
I don't get it. Like, they should have made the enemies more like...
I was actually reading a fan fiction that actually presents a, you know, obviously it's not canon, but it's an interesting idea as to how something like that would happen. So that when Sonic enters this world of imagination, the Arabian Nights, the world kind of fills in the blanks with Sonic's memory. So the enemies end up looking like Eggman robots, and the characters in the books are played by his friends. That makes sense, but also kind of feeds into what we were saying. This could have been a really good Knights game.
Yeah, I mean, it does make me feel a little bit better believing that. They should have just done a Knights game with this. It's a shame that Knights wasn't as popular as it could have been.
And I feel like being that after the Arabian Nights would have been a lot more interesting than the actual Knights game they put out on Wii.
And they could have called it Arabian Nights.
I already made that comment. Like, even for Black Knight, they could have called it Ethereal Knights. Sega should totally put us in charge. But then again, I'm sure there are some Sonic fans out there who disagree with what we say about what makes a good Sonic game and what have you,
And
because
there
Sonic
are
fans are so scattered in what is good and what's bad. There are some people out there who like Sonic 06.
There's people that like this game and like the Black Knight. And I mean, to each his own. It's not something I like though.
I mean, there are worse games you can play. I've played much worse than this.
Like Sonic 06.
That's the only one I will not budge on. I don't care what positives anyone can bring up with that game. That game is garbage, and I will hear nothing in defense of it.
I can't wait to see your reaction to Sonic Boom.
You realize I'm probably going to destroy that game too, and probably your Wii U gamepad if you bring that over, right?
You're buying me a new one if you do.
I do have the money for it.
But I did tell you, if you break another game, don't have it in front of your face next time.
Yeah, I did almost take my eye out with that, didn't I?
Yeah, you would have had a lasting scar from Sonic 06.
Yeah, it would have been
And not just a mental one.
Oh, we have to...
the dinosaur jungle!
Because why the hell not?
We got time. Let's go see the dinosaurs.
Like, you're supposed to keep doing the missions until you find one of the 7 world rings, which is something you need to get to the end of the game. So you have to do more of the missions than you should, but let's just do another mission that's actually designed with the gameplay in mind. Though again, I don't think there are any dinosaurs in the Arabian. I don't even know if the ancient Arabians knew what dinosaurs were. Like, it almost looks like we're playing a completely different game now, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, it would make more sense if it was just, like, Sonic and the Seven Rings, and it's not like the Arabian Nights. It's like a storybook, like a collection of different stories. Then it would make more sense to have all these different themes.
If we can just get across the bridge,
Oh.
we should be okay.
Come on, slime, pick up the pace.
And those Triceratops sure were polite and waited for you.
I love the line from Shara here.
That was a close one.
Sonic, can't you swim?
Yeah.
Tilt the view remote left or right to change direction.
See, like when it's just like this, it's fine. It's just, it's not always like this. You're not always on the move.
Yep.
Like they want to have their cake and eat it too.
You can use your homing attack on the balls that don't have spikes. That is a treasure box. Open it up and see what's inside.
Why are the same exact enemies in the dinosaur land?
Why are we even in a dinosaur land?
Oh god. You gotta stop doing that right next to me.
I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah, excellent.
That's actually pretty funny. Oh, I'm shaking it! Oh, shut up, Steffi.
Wait, did you fall?
I'm not laughing.
You're smiling.
Maybe that flying attack can
Jager's having fun.
Shut up, Steffi.
Oops. Whoa.
Yabba dabba doo! I'm sorry, I could have resist.
How many of these guys are there?
There's no end to them.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
There, is it just me or is there some bad motion blur with this too?
Yes.
Open up! Stupid plant thing. Why does it take so many hits? It only should be one hit. And I missed that button too. Man, that took the breath out of me too.
Ah, conveniently placed log.
If those iron balls hit us, we'll fall into the water.
We?
Is this Soviet Russia?
Be careful,
That's...
Sonic.
You know, in Soviet Russia, we...
Oh!
You haven't heard those jokes?
No.
Alright, never mind.
Not very
If those
cultured.
iron balls hit us, we'll fall into the water.
I like the Brachios. They're cool.
Be careful, Sonic.
I think those are Brachios. Not really.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I like the line from Sonic here. My quills are starting to tingle.
What, like his Spidey sense?
I suppose so. Hey, T-Bone. Fighting in the wrong spot. Thank you. Like, they even showed stuff like this in the trailers, and it never made sense.
This was in that commercial that you showed.
Hey, look at its tail.
It's so purple, I know.
He seems pretty hungry.
And make sure he doesn't decide to throw smash. Get on the catapult and tilt the Wii remote towards yourself. Hit and move it forward again to launch yourself off.
surprised we didn't have a whole mission that was a tutorial about that.
Well, after you get the base controls, I think they realize that you don't need much more than that. As you can see, this is really awkward too. It's just too easy for the Wiimote to get confused.
There you go.
Just a little more, Sonic.
All right.
Yay!
Yeah, I think live said, looks like we're past an hour, so we're timing this perfectly. Okay, so
Woo!
Sonic and the Secret Rings. What do you
Well,
think, Steph?
I've already said enough about what I think. I think our viewers have a good idea of what I think.
Just not very good. And that's generally my thought on it too. Like, again, this isn't as bad as something like Sonic 06. It's more functional in regards to its presentation, graphics, and all that. The only thing that doesn't really work all that well is the stupid motion controls. But, you know, for basic stuff like this, it's fine controlling Sonic like that. When you have to flick forward to get him to do something like that, that's what's when it, like, dude, just,
Yeah.
that's all you need.
Incorporate use of the buttons more.
But it's fine, like, but it is very much a product of its time. The fascination with motion controls has long since worn off, so until VR graduates from being a premium format and becomes the standard for video games, Sonic 06 is probably just, not Sonic 06, Sonic and the Secret Rings is probably just going to remain buried on the Wii. And that's kind of for the best because, like, again, if you want to re-release Sonic and the Secret Rings with the Arabian Nights and everything, you would basically have to completely redesign the game to accommodate basic controls versus the Wii controls. So, yeah, probably never going to get made, never going to get re-released, but, you know, at least people know it exists and
Yep.
it's there forever on the Game Preserve.
Yep.
Well, thanks for suffering through this game with me, Steffi, and I'm glad you got to do your famous beat poetry for 7 Rings in Hand.
Thanks for having me. I was originally planning on doing this over Discord, so I'd rather do it in person. So.
Anyway, if you guys enjoyed tonight's content, please be sure to like and subscribe. I do these videos every Saturday at 8 o'clock, and what I do is I pick a game, play it for about an hour, just talk about the design and history of it, because I'm really passionate about it, especially when my friends are involved, and I can bounce what I say off of them. What I do not do is I don't play games from start to finish, because I feel like you miss out on something if you're not playing the game yourself. The purpose of the Game Preserve is to encourage other people to actually give these games a try, though no disrespect to anyone who chooses to consume video games in that manner. If there's a game you'd like me to cover in this format, please leave it in the comments. If it's something I've never played before, I will happily give it a try because I love trying new games. And Steffi also does her own content on the channel occasionally too, typically covering more oddball stuff that I'm probably not too eager to play. And, you know, that makes for good content too, so if there's something that you would like to see her play too, please leave that in a comment as well. I'll also check out her videos as well. But hope you guys all have a good work week, and I'll see you next time.
Peace.
I exit all this crap out.